There are architectural details that identify our project house as arts and crafts style. Richard Duffy is our go-to historical expert here for Arlington. So Richard, when some people look at that house, they just don't see that arts and crafts influence.
Well, it's a very subtle early example of the style, but certain key features to be accented would be flanking the paired window, panels of Portland cement with half timbering, Portland cement used again in the half round at the top, and especially at the side gable, half timbering with the natural Portland cement again.
All right, so there's not a lot of details, but you're convinced it's arts and crafts.
It's subtle in this interpretation, but I have many more elaborated examples of it in the neighborhood. I'd be happy to show you.
Sounds good.
Great. Here we have an example of a craftsman colonial house where Portland cement is used not as accent as in the project house, but to unify the entire exterior of it. Very characteristic features: deep overhanging eaves with rafter tails, the projecting square bays, and this ribbon of casement windows.
But the door doesn't look craftsman to me.
No, it's absolutely colonial revival feature, typically seen in the Northeast, and it's why we call this subtype craftsman colonial. But let me show you an example of a real craftsman colonial in all its elements. This is a bungalow style house, and this is the type of house that most people think of when they imagine arts and crafts. You see deep overhanging eaves supported by exposed knee braces, the wonderful shed dormer. I particularly like the side light treatment and the decorative surround, and the full width porch, which is integrated beneath the main roof of the house, all of a piece.
And how about these stone piers?
Another characteristic element of uniting nature with the architecture of the house, very special feature. This house is more like our project house, built around the same time, but it's of an asymmetrical design. And you'll notice the sweep of the roof coming all the way from the roof ridge down to enclosing the sun parlor at the first floor level. The windows in the sun parlor, that style of window is known as cottage sash, where you have a third of it in multi-pane and then the large pane at the bottom. And of course, the half timbered gable with which we're familiar, with the flared lines and the drop gable pendant.
All right, well, we've seen good examples of exterior details for arts and crafts. How about interior details?
I have got a landmark example to share with you. Well, Norm, we've seen some fine exterior examples of arts and crafts architecture in Arlington, and now we're going to see a truly amazing arts and crafts inspired interior. We are in the Great Hall of Stonehurst, the Robert Treat Paine Estate in Waltham, Massachusetts, built in 1886 by H.H. Richardson. Here you can see a wonderful reception hall, and nothing gives you the sense of the massiveness of this place than this central beam here.
All right, look at the size of that beam. And that detail in the middle with that metal, I've seen that before. The square is a nut, and there's a threaded rod there that goes up through the second floor to basically a truss, and that truss adds support to this beam. Without that truss, you couldn't have a big opening like this.
And the idea here was to let light in from all directions, and you'll notice the plate in the back is an arts and crafts piece of metal work, hand-hammered iron.
So it's not just about wood, it's about the metal as well.
Absolutely, although wood certainly in this house is the name of the game. And wood carvers were brought into Stonehurst to create this fireplace surround as well as the other pieces in the house. And they are truly unique in the sense of this design here is similar but slightly different from this design over here, reflecting each craftsman's approach to the task at hand.
So even though they're different, that was okay. The individual craftsmanship wanted to be shown.
Richardson wanted each of his wood carvers to express their spirit, and this was actually the opposite of the identical character of mass-produced millwork. Over here, we have a cozy corner, sometimes known as an ingle nook, very typical of the arts and crafts movement. And again, you can see a lot of hand craftsmanship in the woodwork here.
You got a curved rail, you have all these individual little spindles, and they're all slightly different, which says they were made one at a time.
Each one a distinction with a difference.
Also curved walls, curved window glass.
The whole objective to create a bright light and an intimate space within a larger setting.
Right, I can imagine a conversation going on right there in the corner.
Absolutely. One of the things I really love about Stonehurst is the abundant use of wood paneling. And here we see a splendid section of quarter sawn oak. And in later homes of the arts and crafts era, you would see wood as a natural feature of interior wall.
Right, well, it's a beautiful wood, and we have some in the two front rooms of our house, both in the paneling and in the doors.
Well, I'm delighted that you're taking an Arlington arts and crafts house and helping to bring it back to the present day.
All right, well, thanks for the tour.
You're welcome.
And for sharing your historical knowledge.
Well, I really enjoyed it. Why don't we take a little look over here at the ingle nook that's inside the fireplace.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.